And now we'll talk about marriage. Then Almitra spoke again and said, "And what of marriage, master?" And he answered, saying, "You were born together, and together you will be forevermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. Aye, you shall be together even the silent memory of God. But let there be safe spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heavens dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together, and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone. Even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they may quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not to give into each other's keeping. For only the hand of life can contain your hearts, and stand together, yet not tear new together. For the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow." That's a short one. So, let's talk about that for a little bit. Marriage. I'm not married, as you can see. No ring as of yet. I'll show you my other hand just to be sure. But companionship, I think the subtext here, he's talking about marriage, but I think in the modern kind of subtext, we're talking about companionship. And contextually, Gibran lived in a time where, especially in Middle Eastern and Eastern cultures, there's a lot of dependency on the woman being dependent on the man, and it still kind of feels that way in some ways today too. But thankfully, women are gaining a lot more independence, and we love to see it. But here's Gibran kind of putting forth an interesting idea that when you're married, you shouldn't be totally and utterly infatuated with one another. Instead, you should kind of give each other some space. And you should provide for each other, but never provide in such a way that you are taking from yourself. That's what he's mentioning when he says you should eat of bread, but not from the same loaf. And to sing and dance together and be joyous, but let one of you be alone. So everybody needs their alone time. And it's important to remember that because, especially when you're early in what I like to call like the getting to know you stages of a relationship, you definitely want to be with that person a lot of the time, and you want to do everything together and things like that, but that can get you burned out really, really quickly. And I think Gibran knew this, and so he's saying humans are fiercely independent. Like, we want companionship. We're biologically programmed to have companionship, but we're also fiercely independent, and we kind of need our own times. And so companionship is best spent when you have two individuals that are close with each other, but not so close that, as he says here, that heaven's winds cannot sweep through between of you and things like that. So, yeah, putting forth a very controversial opinion at the time that love should be the two of you kind of together, but not so together that it's toxic or it hurts you. So we've gone through two poems so far. And as you can see, Gibran's very concise. He's very lyrical and he's very romantic in his writing. Like, he has these beautiful proses, but he's also concise. Like, it doesn't drag on forever and forever. And so that's why I love this book, is because if you have questions about any sort of thing like life or marriage or giving, Gibran has probably written a poem about it or something close to it in this book, and you can go and read it in a couple minutes and kind of sit and meditate on it, like we're doing right now. So, let's continue our journey with our good friend Khalil Gibran and his prophet Al-Mustafa.